Chapter 11. All in due time. I'm not sure what led to me being able to stay, but I guess Professor Dumbledore could tell after a couple of minutes that I wasn't going to leave Severus' side, especially since he decided to let me stay for him to wake up. But Professor McGonagall, on the other hand, wanted me to return to my dormitory. I know she's head of my house and just going by the rules, but this is Severus we're talking about here. I don't exactly know what's going on between us, but there's something obviously forming. And I don't think I should keep ignoring it like I've been trying to. After all, Neville was the one who came up to me when I entered the Great Hall. I tried to reason some with Professor McGonagall into begging her to let me stay by him. I just couldn't leave him like that and was also really worried about him. I looked at her with sorrowful eyes, and she could see how worried I was, and so she caved in, and she agreed. A couple of hours later, I was resting my eyes by his bedside when I thought I felt him moving, finally. I opened my eyes to find him starting to wake up. I felt relieved. "Oh, Professor Snape, you're awake. How are you feeling?" He groaned, rubbed his head, and asked, "Where am I? What happened?" I looked around and noticed we were alone, so I didn't have to act like I was casually talking to him as a student. "You're in the hospital wing, Severus, and no one really knows. I heard you were just walking in the Great Hall and you just half fell on the floor on your knees. I was close to walking in when Neville alerted me as to what happened. You blinked and seemed to acknowledge that I was there, but you didn't say anything or move much. We helped carry you here, but I don't know much of anything. I talked to Professor Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall, into letting me stay here with you, so I've just been resting my eyes until now." He didn't say anything back, but then he sat up and looked at me with a soft, kind smile. I looked down at his hands as he was patting the empty spot next to me, wanting me to come and sit with him. I guess he did want me to stay with him after all. So, knowing it was just the two of us, I got in with him and laid my head on his shoulder. He looked down at me and said, "I appreciate you looking out for me. Thank you." I smiled as I didn't respond back. It was quiet until I said quietly, "You know, Severus, I was quite worried about you. It scared me a little. I walked at the dinner and ended up seeing you kneeling on the floor, looking like a deer standing in the car headlights. I'm sorry if I scared you or made you worry about me. I can't remember why I suddenly got like that, but all I know is I'm back and I'm all right." "You really don't remember much of anything, Severus?" "Afraid not. I know it doesn't help to soothe you. I'm sorry, Miranda." "Well, whatever it was, I hope it doesn't happen again, because it bloody scared me half to death. And I tried hard not to show it in front of the others. I mean, I casually did as like a teacher and a student, but you know what I mean." "You did well, Miranda. I'll try not to make you worry about me so much in the future." I looked up at him. "Severus, do you think we're meant to be together like this, as wrong as it is?" "As wrong as it is with the way I've come to feel about you, yes. I believe so in a way that's completely undeniable, with a feeling so strong that it can captivate you in an instant. I believe things will get figured out in due time, all in due time." And for the first time in a while, I was seeing a little bit of his soft side. A side that I don't really get to see since he doesn't show it. I wish he would, because there's so much more to him. I watched as he leaned down and kissed my forehead lightly. I guess maybe he doesn't remember much of what happened. I felt my body relax as I could feel him smile just a little bit. Feeling him smile made me smile, which made me feel happy inside. This is a side that I wish people could see more. Underneath it all, he cares. He really can truly care and be soft. If only you could see how you look from my eyes, Severus, I thought to myself. We both lay down on the bed, and I continued to stay there with him throughout the night, not bothering to leave his side. I think by now, Severus knew that I wasn't going to leave him alone. Knowing this, he wrapped his arms around me, and I soon fell asleep, overpowering me. The next morning, I woke up early the following morning to find Severus's arms still lightly around me. The sun was just starting to come up, so it was just barely dawn and barely time for others to wake up. I smiled softly as I looked over at Severus to notice that he was sound asleep. He looked like a completely different person asleep. Innocent. Like it was charming. Maybe in due time, things would turn out well for us. Like he was saying last night. I didn't want to leave him, but I knew I had to in order to get ready for the day. I slowly got up, making sure not to wake him, and got out of bed. I glanced at him once more and I lightly put my fingers in his hair. Without waking him, I leaned down, kissed him on the forehead, and left. As I was walking, some students were giving me weird stares and it confused me. I truly don't know why people were looking at me weirdly. I just tried to shrug it off some and not worry about it. I went into my room in the dormitory, grabbed my clothes, and made my way to the shower, soon feeling the warm water on my body. After I was done, I got out, dried and styled my hair, brushed my teeth, and changed into my robes. I then stepped out of the area to go down and have breakfast with Hermione. I walked along the hallways, and I saw her waiting for me by the entrance of the Great Hall. "Hey, Miranda." "Hey, Hermione." "So, did you stay at the hospital with Professor Snape last night?" "Yeah, I did. I stayed with him overnight. I didn't want to leave him, and Professor Dumbledore, I guess, saw it in me and how worried I was, so he let me stay. As for Professor McGonagall, she wanted me to leave, but I soon convinced her to let me stay as I had to beg her." "He doesn't remember anything?" "He didn't say much about what happened, but no, I guess." "Miranda, I should probably warn you about this before we go in to have breakfast." "What is it, Hermione?" "Don't make me say it again, okay? I don't know how people find out, but some people know that you slept with Snape. Miranda, I'm sorry. Harry, Ron, Neville, and I didn't tell anyone except the twins, and they promised they wouldn't tell a soul. And I know they didn't because I asked them. I know they wouldn't do that to you. They said that as well. Did Malfoy tell people or something? He's the only other one that somehow knows. How did this happen?" "I don't know. I'm sorry." I felt my body freeze in place as I couldn't move, and I became as white as a ghost. "Come on, I got your back," Hermione stated as she grabbed my hand carefully. I looked at her as we were entering with a shocked "oh my god" look on my face. I only gulped, hoping to God that Severus wouldn't find out about this. Hopefully. Well, this completely explains why people were looking at me weirdly early in the hallway, I thought to myself. Then Hermione and I saw Harry, Ron, Neville, and the twins sitting there eating, saving a spot for us. Just as I was about to eat my meal, I saw Severus coming into the room from the corner of my eye. I'm guessing that must have let him out of the hospital way earlier than I thought. I kind of ignored him as he was passing by, but I felt him looking straight at me. I'm not going to lie. I was honestly scared of what to think about what would happen to either of us since word got out somehow. I just continued to eat breakfast and talk with the rest of my friends. I kept feeling a weird tense with Severus being in here. I don't know why though, because we were both fine last night. But knowing that some people found out somehow of what we did, I know that he's going to be bloody mad. I tried to shake off this feeling I've been feeling, but I couldn't. I found myself staring at him as he continued to stare back at me, looking into my eyes. Why must he always stare at me in this hypnotizing way that makes me weak at the knees? Does he already know that word got out? Or was he just staring at me because I stayed by his side last night at the hospital wing? Or is it simply because there's a growing connection between us that's hard to deny? I was so deep into thought that I felt a hand on my shoulder, and the sudden feeling made me jump a little in my seat, almost doing a spit take in front of my friends. Fred then chuckled. "Back from wandering off there, Miranda? You all right?" I saw him and George chuckling as they probably saw me staring at Severus again without saying anything noticeable. I blushed and muttered, "Oh, hush it, Fred. I'm here." He and George thus started to laugh more while I nodded my head. Those two laughed at anything, I swear, and they loved to joke about it around with me. Then I looked next to me and noticed it was Harry who had touched my shoulder. He said, "Sorry for accidentally scaring you, Miranda." I lightly giggled. "Don't worry, Harry, it's fine." He then smiled at me, and that made me smile too. After I finished my breakfast and made small talk, I left so I could go on for a walk. I needed to get my head clear. I have so much on my mind that it's driving me crazy.